Thank you for coming back. We are in Shmuel Aleph, the book of Samuel, the first book of Samuel, chapter 29. If you wait to the very end of this class, then I have a special offer that hopefully you'll accept. So we go on, and we're in chapter 29. Like I said, verse 1. Vayikbetzu Pelishtim ekol machanehem, and all of the Pelishtim gathered their entire camp to Afeka of Israel, Chonim, and Israel camped Ba'ayin near the well Asher B'Israel. That was in Israel. Fine. So now verse 2. It says this very interesting word. Vesarne Pelishtim, the lords of the Pelishtim, according to the rabbis, there were only 5 of them. If you go back in the story, you'll see that. And that's going to distinguish them between the Sarei Pelishtim, the officers of Pelishtim. So he has the Sarnei Pelishtim, the lords of the leaders of the Pelishtim. Over him they went over, Lemeot, La'alafim, for the hundreds and the thousands, and that was talking about the troops. But again, there was only 5 of the Sarnei Pelishtim, who were the leaders, and the Radak says exactly that the lords were not over the hundreds and thousands. There were 100,000 of them. Like I said, there were 5. V'David ve'anashav, and now David and his men over in Baracharona, they went over last. Im Achis, with Achis, because Achis had asked David and his men to guard him, to be his personal guard. Fine. So what happens? Verse 3. Vayomer, so now when you have to imagine this, you have David, who has not been friendly to the Pelishtim in his entire career, and the Pelishtim now see him with Achish, and they say, rightfully so, Vayomru Sarei Pelishtim. Now here again, like I said, that's the important word, Sarei. The leaders of the Pelishtim, in other words, the generals of the Pelishtim, they said, Maha Ivrim Ha'ela, what is with these Jews? And the reason they're called Ivrim is because they come originally from Avar Nahar, from over the river, so they always maintain that name of Ivrim, of the ones who passed over. But it's referring to the Jews. So what are these Jews doing here? That's what they're saying. It doesn't say doing here, by the way. It says, Ma Ivrim Ha'ela, what's with these Jews? Okay. Vayomer Achish. So Achish answers, he has to defend himself. El Sarei Pelishtim, and he answers he says to the leaders of the the officers of the Pelishtim, Halo Zeh David, this is David, Eved Shaul Melech Israel, the servant of Shaul, the king of Israel. Asher Haya Iti Yamim, he's been with me for many days. He Ozeh Shanim, or for that matter, years. For the Matzati, and all the time that he's been there since he's rebelled against his king, Lo Matzati Bum I haven't found anything wrong with him. Miyom Naflo, interesting word he chooses, from the day he fell here. Notice he had to leave his home, so he fell, as it were, upon us. Ad him was until this very day. So the truth is, how long has he been with him? He's only been with him for 4 months. So what does he mean to say that he was days or years and so on and so forth, trying to give a long time for David to have been there? And so the rabbis explained that he was a lashon guzma, a language of exaggeration, if you will, that it's because he was only there 4 months. But for all the time that he's been there, he hasn't acted up, he hasn't done anything wrong, is good. So what happens is, Tzafu alav, the Pelishtim, the Sarei Pelishtim, again, the officers were very agitated with the king, King Achish. The Yomru and they said to Yomru Sarei Pelishtim, and the officers of the Pelishtim said, Hashev Ish, send this guy away. Vayashov el Makomo, let him go back to his place, that he was appointed over. In other words, we don't want him here. We don't want to attack. We don't want anything to do with him. He shouldn't go down to war with us. And he shouldn't be somebody who's going to accuse us or to be an adversary to us in battle. And what's their concern? It says, maybe he wants to appease his the king, King Shaul. So what's he going to do? He's going to turn against us in the midst of battle, and he's going to get the victory. Hello, and he's going to bring the heads of these men, namely they're referring to themselves, to their king. To his king, and so we don't want him here. We're very afraid of this guy, and you know why? Because it says, verse 5, "Velo zed David," this David, this character you have with you, asher yanu lo b'mecholot lemor. When he would come home from battle, the women would bang on their drums or the musical instruments, and they would say, "Hika Shaul ba'alafav," that Shaul has killed the thousands, for David b'rivotav, and David with 10,000s, his 10,000s. So they're clearly afraid of what David could do. They don't trust David. Achis has been convinced by David that he's a good guy, but the Philistines have not been convinced at all. They don't like him. They don't want him there, and they are telling Achis that as long as David is there, they don't want to go. So send him away. The question, of course, is how could David even agree to Achis to go to fight against the Jews? After all, he really wasn't in rebellion against Shaul. He just didn't want to get killed, as we learned a long time ago. So that's why he left the area. But he's not interested in really fighting against the Jews. As a matter of fact, all this time he's been doing guerrilla warfare against everybody to save the Jews. So that would be the question that we'll deal with next time. And the one offer I'd like to make is I'm thinking of having a class with you via Zoom or whatever else we can figure out. If that is what you would like, an in-person class, please let me know via this station, and then I will get back to you. Thank you very much. I look forward to hearing from you.